Okay, I don't know about you all, but sometimes when I look at a flow chart like this, really, my eyes just kind of cross and I don't even know what I'm looking at. But really, when you take a look at Jarvis's flow chart, it's actually quite simple. His model begins with an adult's experience and is really based on the premise that all learning begins with experience and can result in three types of learning, either thinking, doing, or feeling. Now, if you look at box number 1, that's going to represent the person. Box number 2 is a situation. So a person is encountering a situation that differs from the norm. Some experiences are just taken for granted and we don't really learn from them. But when something presents itself a little bit differently or something seems different than it should be, this is an experience from which we can learn. So then adults tend to take the experience and follow 3 different pathways. They can either go follow the shortest arrow there to the right, where it says the person is reinforced but relatively unchanged. This represents just kind of the thinking. So, oh, that was kind of interesting, and you move on, or you kind of choose to ignore the learning experience, but you don't really do anything with it. You've experienced it, you've noted it, and you moved on. Otherwise, we can take the second pathway right there, which shows you moving into memorization. So you take the situation or the information presented at face value, and you might learn something from it, not really understanding and not really digging any deeper, but kind of taking it at face value and learning what you have to move on. Then you can either move forward here to where the person is changed and is more experienced. So you have some more knowledge, but it hasn't really enriched your life any. Or you can move this way to evaluation. So then you can think about, is this useful? Can it be generalized? Can I use this in different stages of my life? To where you then move to practice and experimentation. So you may try out that new knowledge that you've learned, a new recipe or a new way of doing your taxes or anything that you've thought of, maybe even a new occupational therapy model. Can it be used? And from there, you can either go back to evaluation, back to memorization, accepting what you've learned, and then you've been changed. The person has changed, more experienced, you've learned something, but how much has it really enriched your life? The third way of learning, if you follow this arrow that goes all the way down to reasoning and reflecting, represents the feeling way of learning. So you're really kind of critically thinking and understanding, kind of turning the whole bit of information around in your mouth or in your mind and unpacking it, kind of looking at how it can be used. Then again, it goes to evaluation, whereas before you ask yourself, is this useful? Can it be generalized? And from there, you move to practice and experimentation. You put it to use in your everyday life, use it in real life situations. But you're using not exactly as it was presented to you. Maybe you've modified it somehow so it works better in your life through your reasoning and reflecting. And then from there, you'll either go back to reevaluating it, or if it's working well, you might go back to the reasoning and reflecting to see, is there another way I can use this? Is there a way I can expand on this? And through that kind of learning, the feeling learning, you actually do become more changed and more experienced with that learning that you've actually applied to your everyday life. So there it is in a nutshell. What Jarvis says is you learn through experience, and you can either think about the experience, you can do something with the experience, or you can really feel the experience and apply it to your life. And feeling seems to be the deepest form of learning, although all 3 might work depending on the context and the knowledge that you're learning. So we'll continue with the presentation. I hope that this helped explain a little bit.